Hello, here we are on Thursday as we continue our journey through the book of the prophet Hosea. We have today and tomorrow, and then we'll get the weekend off before we start again on Monday next week. But we've had quite a journey so far, haven't we? A very short part yesterday, but in each of our chapters so far we've had judgment and we've had promise. Today we have a longer, much longer chapter today, but only judgment today. Not a very uplifting reading today, but these are the words of God through Hosea to the people of Israel about their unfaithfulness to him. And we do need to listen to this sometimes, because we all sin, we all fall short of what God expects of us, and we all need to hear God's words of judgment and the way that God says, you could be better than this, you really need to be faithful to me. Because in the same way we can be unfaithful to God too. And it's a real challenge, is this chapter, telling us about how we ought to live and how we don't live, particularly how the people of Israel in those days didn't live in the way that God wanted. So here we are, chapter 4 of the book of the prophet Hosea. I'm reading from the contemporary English version, and it's been really good so far. I do like this version, but it's very good to understand. Chapter 4 of Hosea. Israel, listen as the Lord accuses everyone in the land. No one is faithful or loyal or truly cares about God. Cursing, dishonesty, murder, robbery, unfaithfulness, these happen all the time. Violence is everywhere, and so your land is a desert. Every living creature is dying, people and wild animals, birds and fish. Don't accuse just anyone. Not everyone is at fault. My case is against you, the priests. You and the prophets will stumble day and night. I'll silence your mothers. You priests have rejected me, and my people are destroyed by refusing to obey. Now I'll reject you and forget your children, because you have forgotten my law. By adding more of you priests, you multiply of the people of the number of people who sin. Now I'll change your pride into shame. You encourage others to sin so you can stuff yourselves on their sin offerings. That's why I will punish the people for their deeds, just as I will punish you priests. Their food won't satisfy, and having sex at pagan shrines won't produce children. My people have rebelled and have been unfaithful to me, their Lord. My people, you are foolish because of too much pleasure and too much wine. You expect wooden idols and other objects of wood to give you advice. Lusting for sex at pagan shrines has made you unfaithful to me, your God. You offer sacrifices on mountaintops and hills, under oak trees and wherever good shade is found. Your own daughters and daughters-in-law sell themselves for sex, but I won't punish them. You men are to blame, because you go to prostitutes and offer sacrifices with them at pagan shrines. Your own foolishness will lead you to ruin. Israel, you are unfaithful, but don't lead Judah to sin. Stop worshipping at Gilgal or at sinful Bethel, and quit making promises in my name, the name of the living God. You are nothing more than a stubborn cow, so stubborn that I, the Lord, cannot feed you like lambs in an open pasture. You people of Israel are charmed by idols. Leave them alone. You get drunk, then sleep with prostitutes. You would rather be vulgar than lead a decent life, and so you will be swept away in a whirlwind for sacrificing to idols. Quite a rant, isn't it? So the priests get it in the neck to start with, because they are the people who should be leading the people of Israel towards God, but they're not doing that, and they're taking the benefit of it by telling the people that they're doing wrong, but they're sinning. But then they get the priests get the offerings that are made as the people say sorry for their sins, and then God says about punishing the people because they just lust after everything, and they're trying to worship other gods. They're doing all sorts of things, all these things that they shouldn't be doing, and they shouldn't look to just themselves, but look to one another, and not to one another, because they should be looking at themselves as one of the things that each of them does wrong. And wow, absolutely fantastic rant, it really is, and a real reminder of the way that we need to follow in God's ways, how easy it is not to, and the way that when we do that, things go wrong. really struck by this bit where it says cursing, dishonour, murder, robbery, unfaithfulness, these happen all the time. Violence is everywhere, and so your land is a desert. Every living creature is dying, people and wild animals, birds and fish. Really made me kind of conscious of that same challenge in our generation, really, and our concern with bad things, really, and the way that we're so easy to do bad things, or so quick to do bad things, rather than to look after the environment in which we live, and the way that in our generation too things are dying, even though bad things are increasing. Really a very timely reminder, a very timely challenge. And I think the other things too, all of those things are things which are happening in our age as well. So we need to be aware of those things, don't we? A very big rant, a very timely rant, a very modern rant, even though it comes from long ago. These are the words that God very much says to us too, as a challenge that we can do better. Thank you for listening today, and do continue to listen to our journey through Hosea. We're on chapter 5 tomorrow, our final bit for this week, so do join me then, and I'll see you for Friday's instalment, chapter 5 of Hosea tomorrow. Join me then. All the very best. God bless. Bye bye.